So today's the day. I finally start formal flight training. I've done the ground school work, and now we're about to go up in a 172. So, of course, smile on the face. I just finished my first flight in 172, and it was a blast. It's a lot different than flying in the simulator or going through and doing some of the ground school stuff. To actually get up in the aircraft and to have that sensation of flight, it makes all the difference. And you know, I really look forward to continuing with my flight training, and hopefully it'll all go really smoothly. Hey, this is day 2, flight 2 of my private pilot video blog. Today I actually was able to pilot the airplane for a little over an hour, and I was able to go up and do some stalls, power on and power off stalls, and shoot one approach to the runway, practice some turns and things like that. An exhilarating experience, and it really, I was worried mostly about getting over the sensation of flight. I've done a lot of time in sims and things like that, and I'm just flying off visual cues, but now to actually be in the airplane, you have the sensation of flying and all the little things that go with it. So on my very first flight, it was only about a half hour. I didn't have much time to get used to that sensation of flight, that constant feeling of butterflies in your stomach as you're rising and falling all the time and kind of shifting left and right. But I had more time to do that today. I will admit that the stalls, they got me. I got scared. I kept reaching for the "oh poop" handle, and it wasn't there. And I got to the point where I was dropping a little too much on my stalls, so I had a pretty good free fall for a little bit. But I smoothed them out. My recovery was ended up getting a little smoother by the end, and I'm told that we're going to go back up tomorrow afternoon and work on that and work on more approaches. So for now, it's going to be more sim time. Shooting approaches, getting in the pattern, and trying to smooth out my landings, and we'll go from there. Hey, this is Kevin with another video blog entry for my journey to get a private pilot's license. Today I went with Alan in a 172. We went and did some power on and power off stalls to make myself a little more proficient, and then we got into the pattern to start doing some touch and goes and work on that a little bit. We had a little problem with the radio, so we'll work through that. I got a lot of practice on my radio traffic, even though the radio was intermittent at times, and I was able to actually get 4 touch and goes in and then a full stop course, and all the wheels are still in the plane and we're down in one piece, so it was good to go. But there's certainly a lot more practice and a lot more reading and studying before I'm ready for my solo. I've only got a couple hours in, and I'm looking forward to the next time already. So thanks for checking this out, and look forward to doing some more. Hey, this is Kevin with AGL, back with another private pilot blog entry. I've had another day in 80700, and today we went up, we did a few touch and goes. We flew over to Bessemer, did a few touch and goes. Alan said I was doing a pretty good job there. Excuse the hair, it's kind of messed up, it's hot. And had the headset on, but we did a few touch and goes over there. There's a little bit of crosswind, so it was good practice. I need to work a little bit more on my radio traffic, and Alan wanted to get me out of my comfort zone of landing here at Shelby and get over to a new airport, so that worked out pretty well. And he thought I was doing a good job, so he figured he would step it up a notch, and we ended up getting up with Birmingham Control, and we flew to Birmingham, and we did one touch and go, which wasn't very pretty, but I was way out of my comfort zone at that point, dealing with all the traffic and lots of planes in the air, lots of radio traffic, big airport, kind of get the butterflies going again. But succeeded, didn't tear anything up, didn't hurt anybody. We took off, had our vector back for Shelby County, talked to departure, and got back down here, lined up, and I kind of came in a little too high on my final full stop landing for the day, but we're back on the ground obviously in one piece. And here's a 700, give you a little view around this very small airplane, and Yeah, so this is where I spend my day about an hour at a time, sweating and flying in this old aircraft. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. I learned a lot. It's good practice. I'm going to continue to work on the simulator and use that to help me manage all the stuff that's going on inside the aircraft, my radio traffic, so I'm more comfortable with all of that. And then actually getting out here and doing it in the airplane is going to make me a lot more confident. And Alan keeps joking that, you know, I'm going to get ready for my check ride. Well, not my check ride, my solo real soon, but I think I'm doing okay with the landings, but I certainly need more practice. But we'll talk about that next time. Thanks for checking us out. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another installment of my private pilot video blog. Today was lesson 5. I went up with a new instructor, Johnny, and so I guess I had a little bit of a few bugs, if you will. Going up with a new instructor is a little nervous. Makes you a little nervous anyway. And maybe it's just a mixture of that and staying up a little late last night. Did some stuff at a news station. And I was a little tired this morning, so I probably shouldn't have gone anyway. But it was a free hour, so it wasn't a free hour. It was an hour that was available to me, so I went and I took it. And we were going to get in the pattern and do some more touch and goes. And I was really screwing up my rudder a lot. And so we went out and we did a neat thing where we kind of put the plane in a nice level attitude and just used the rudder to navigate around and make some turns and hold courses and things like that, and stuff you don't really normally think about. Certainly not a coordinated turn. Once we trained out the airplane and had it in good level flight, we just used the rudder, didn't touch the yoke at all. So this is some neat stuff, something for me to work on with the simulator a little bit. Did a couple more bad landings. Man, I was just coming in too high and then starting to rotate and into level flight on my landing just way too early, and letting the plane with the crosswind just get sideways, and I was exacerbating that by hitting the wrong rudder. And I didn't finally realize exactly what I was doing. I'd see the nose in my sight picture go right, and I would hit right rudder. And, you know, Johnny's sitting there telling me left rudder. You know, I'm just, I guess I just let myself get nervous. I'm still really new, and I wasn't doing a very good job of maintaining a good coordinated flight of the airplane today. But I used the drive home to kind of think back of the flight, some of the mistakes I made, how I'm going to correct that to make sure that I learned from this flight. Even though I wasn't particularly happy with it, as long as I'm learning, then and we land and we're safe, and we don't tear up the airplane or hurt anybody, then it was a good flight. But I'm almost back to the house, sitting in the driveway, and I think I'm probably going to eat a little lunch, calm down, just sit in the recliner for a minute, and then fire up the sim and work on that a little better so I get that muscle memory down, because for whatever reason I would see the nose go right and I'd hit right rudder. I'd see the nose go left, I hit left rudder. And it's got to be the opposite, and I've got to have that muscle memory down so I can progress. Other than that, I think I'm doing okay. You know, the instructors keep telling me I'm flying good for the amount of hours that I have in, but that is a problem that I definitely, personally, I need to work on, and hopefully I get a chance to do that a little bit today. But thanks for watching my little video. This is just the expedition, nothing exciting. Ooh, expedition, who cares, right? But we'll get back up next week, and hopefully I will be a lot more in tune to what the tail of the aircraft is doing and how I can properly correct that without thinking too much about it by my next flight, which I think is next Friday, so I've got plenty of time to work on it. Thanks for checking out my video blog. So today, for another installment of the private pilot video blog, this was lesson 7, I believe, maybe 8. I forget. I have to look back in the logbook. But this made, yeah, it should be 7. This made 7 hours. It was all pattern work. We went up in the 172 and did touch and goes until I got sick and tired of it, and the hour ran out. We got about 8 in. Only had very light bounces on 2 of them. Really bad crosswinds and some gusts that will get your attention when they grab one of those wingtips and start to roll it over, and you're 100 feet off the deck coming in almost stall speed. It really gets your attention quick because all the controls are so mushy that you really have to start rotating that wheel around a lot to get the throw that you need. But Alan said I was doing a good job. I guess my approaches from downwind through base, which is your turn just before you make your final turn, I had good descents. I was had a lot better rudder control. That was a big issue for me the last time. My rudder was solid this time. I actually learned my left from right and did really well on that, except for I let it get away from me one time after a short soft bounce, but that was mostly due to the crosswinds that were just coming in at such a crab angle. It's hard to picture your approach when your airplane is pointing 20-30 degrees off the center line at a set of hangars instead of the runway which you're trying to hit. And so that was interesting, a little unnerving. Good practice. Hopefully next time I can go earlier in the morning where the winds won't be as bad, and I can do a lot more of a smooth, nice, calm approach and get out some of the turbulence and the friggin' heat. I'm telling you, it's 92 damn degrees outside. And yeah, it's not as humid, but locked up inside an airplane has been sitting in the sun all day. It doesn't matter if that prop's spinning. You're still just sweating like you wouldn't believe. And then from the stress and everything else, once that starts to settle down, you have to remind yourself every time. I know that I stop breathing for those last 10 feet before that airplane touches, and then when I finally get it settled down and I push the carb heat back in, rotate the flaps up, take a nice deep breath, and almost blow out my instructor's eardrums because I'm sitting there. It sounds like I'm sighing on the radio all the time. Just finally remember to take a deep breath, get past that adrenaline dump, and power up, hold right rudder, and go up for another run. But thanks for checking this out, and hopefully we get to do some neat stuff next time. He said we're not just going to do pattern work next time. We're going to go up and go do some lazy eights and go do some more stall testing, slow flight, that kind of thing. But hopefully it'll be a little smoother, get my confidence back up a little bit more, and get us just some more practice in the airplane. That's what it boils down to. I mean, I've got 7 hours in. That's nothing to be learning a skill set like that. 7 hours is nothing. But I'm going to keep at it, keep studying, getting ready for the written, and keep on the simulator so that I can continue to build my confidence. But thanks for checking this out. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Well, hey, this is Kevin, back with another video blog entry into my journey on becoming a private pilot. This was lesson 7. We did pattern work. Luckily, the weather was not cooperating. We had broken 700, then 800, and we hit the 1,000-foot barrier, which for a VFR pilot, we have to have at least 1,000 feet to be able to take off and fly. And that happened right as I finished my pre-flight. I was able to get up. We got in the pattern. We ran a whole bunch of landings. I don't even know how many we did. Alan kept track and luckily put all that correctly in my logbook. The cloud deck was really low. Our normal altitude here at Shelby County is about 1650 for our pattern work, and I was taking that down about 100 to 150 feet just to make sure that I stayed below the clouds. And so that was a little extra management. Nobody else in the pattern because the weather's so crappy today. It's raining right now. I was wanting to do a little tour around the aircraft that I'm doing most of my training in, but I couldn't because it's already raining. It started raining as soon as I hit final on my last landing. So we did full stop and came in, and it was right at an hour on our timer in the plane, so that worked out just right. Did a lot better on my landings today. My confidence is way up. We still had good shear. I haven't had one time coming in to land at this airport where I didn't have a good crosswind, and a good 6-7 knots crosswind most of the time. And you know, you could definitely tell the shear coming in as I was landing on today. On every single landing, just coming in, crabbing, you know, having to line up on one side and wait until I was blown to the other side to actually touch down. But it did a really good job. I only bounced once or twice, and they were very, very soft bounces. We didn't pop back up into the air. It was kind of a normal thing, and had two just kind of greased them in, which was great. I actually had the stall indicator go off. This is the first time today that I've actually heard the stall indicator go off, and right as my mains are touching down. And so it was really, really nice and smooth, which I'm sure Holly will appreciate if I can continue that pace once I finally get my PPL and she can fly with me some. I want to make sure that I'm nice and smooth so I don't scare the bejesus out of her. But hopefully next time the weather will stay a little better, and I can actually take you on a little tour around the aircraft that I'm training in. And who knows, I may solo after the next one, so that would be great, and that'll be a really exciting time for me. But thanks for checking out my little video blog, and we'll check you guys out next week. Hey everybody, this is Kevin back with another private pilot video blog entry out here at the Shiba County Airport. Today I had lesson 8. It's more pattern work with Alan, trying to not perfect my landings, but certainly make them a lot smoother. He said I did a good job today. We just went up and did a lot of different things, working with traffic in the pattern. Most of the time I go up, I don't have any traffic in the pattern, but today I was flying with my good friend Brandon, the other half of AGL, and was kind of chasing him around the whole time today. And it's a little funny because the plane I was in, 700, who's about to take off right now, it has 20 more horsepower, so it's a good bit faster than the airplane, this one behind me, Golf Echo, that Brandon was flying in. This is Golf Echo here. It's just Cessna 172, just like the one I was in, but Golf Echo doesn't have the performance package that 700 has. So we'd go up, and in the downwind leg we were going to line up for another approach, I would inevitably catch up to him, and I'd have to run either my base turn long or just hold my crosswind a lot longer. But it was good stuff. I didn't tear up the airplane, so all in all it was a good day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my private pilot video blog. I just got back from finishing up my paperwork and everything after my first solo, so I'm super stoked about that. It's scary to kick the CFI, the flight instructor, out and then go through everything by yourself. There's nobody over there to take over if you start to screw up. It's just you and the airplane. And of course I'm standing here in front of 700. This is the plane I did my solo in just a little bit ago. Like I said, I'm real excited. It's like graduating high school all over again, actually getting that solo in. And Alan said the next things we're going to be working on, we're going to solo, have 2 more supervised solos, and then we're going to start doing some short hops to Bessemer and Sylacauga and things like that, getting ready to do our cross-country training. So, man, I don't know what to say. We had to wait a little while for the weather to clear up. I shot a couple of approaches a little bit low in the pattern, a couple hundred feet low, and then Alan asked me, you know, if I'm feeling good about it. And I told him, yeah, I was feeling good. I was doing everything like I was supposed to do, making all the good corrections and everything. He was said he was impressed with my situational awareness and my ability to manage everything inside the aircraft and then still stay cognitive of the traffic in the pattern, because there were several other guys coming in IFR, instrument flight ratings, because the weather was bad. So we couldn't see them, and so we were listening when they were getting close, because they're just going to pop out of the clouds on you. And working with Brandon was in the pattern, so I had to be mindful of this being a faster aircraft where he was, and change up my approaches a couple times. Because I'm in the faster aircraft, I can catch him quickly in the pattern, and so I had to change up my approach so I don't get too close to him and give him plenty of room to touch and go, and then I could come in and do my landing. But it was great having my buddy here. I got to see my last landing. They said I was doing good. It was just coming in just like it should. And so, man, hell, I soloed. I don't know what else to say. But I am going to give you a little tour of this ancient, overpowered aircraft here. This is a Cessna 172. I'm going to change the camera around. This is a Cessna 172. This one actually has an extra 20 horsepower. If you've heard me in my video blog refer to 700, of course I'm talking about the tail number. So in the pattern we're calling out, instead of November 80700, we're calling out Cessna 700 or 80700 in the pattern when we're going around. It's not a very big aircraft, but as far as general aviation goes, the 172 is plenty large to carry 4 passengers comfortably. You can't go especially far. You have to reduce some of the fuel to carry 4, but it's a workhorse of this flight school, and this will always be remembered by me and that tail number as the aircraft that I soloed in, so that's cool. Alright, well, thanks for checking out my video blog, and look forward to progressing to my check ride and keeping everybody abreast of what happens as you go through your private pilot license and all the little challenges that come along with it. So thanks for checking out my video blog, and we'll see you guys next time. Well, good morning everybody, and thanks for checking out my video blog for my journey to getting my private pilot's license. Today was my second supervised solo. We went up, rode around with Alan for a couple times, and then kicked him out of the airplane. And I went up and did another solo, worked a little bit in the pattern, had a little more traffic, so it started to get a little busy. But as you can see, this is the cockpit of 700. These are all the gauges and everything. And it's still intact, believe it or not. The landing gear is still on there. They're only slightly bent, but no, it wasn't that bad today. I had a couple interesting little changes as we went up. Turn this around. As we went up, some of the Birmingham flight school guys came down, and they run a much longer downwind than we normally run. So on my last my final stop, my last go around, I was behind him, the Birmingham flight school guy, which they have a nicely painted plane. It looks really good in the air, but he runs his downwind a lot longer, so I had to really adjust my normal procedure and go a lot longer, which made my final a lot longer, and we'll just change up a few things, which is good. It's giving me different things. It's making me learn to adapt and do the changes that I need to do, so when things happen up there and I don't have somebody to talk to, I don't have somebody in here, a crutch to lean on, then I can be prepared. I've had changes happen. Everything's not just going exactly as it normally would. It's the same thing with my first solo. I had to run a little longer. Brandon, my buddy Brandon, he just soloed on his friggin' birthday yesterday, so that was killer. A birthday he'll never forget. But when I did my first solo, Brandon was in the pattern, and they were doing some different things, so I had to change my my approach a couple times, just a little bit, so that I was not going to overrun him. And it was a similar thing today. You know, I had to make sure that I kept a good safe distance between me and the other traffic. So my instructor Alan, he is going to go to Hawker School, which is insane, here shortly, the first of next month. So next week I'm going to try and get my last supervised solo, and then that will allow me to just rent the airplane as I choose and go up and do pattern work. The next day after I do my last supervised solo, we're actually going to do a trip to Bessemer. So then he'll sign off in my logbook that I can go back and forth to Bessemer from Keat to Bessemer and back. So it's not cross country. It's only a few miles down the road. It only takes a couple minutes in the airplane to get there. but that is going to free me up a good bit to actually come out here and do some pattern work to make sure that I'm getting good and smooth, build more hours, to fly back and forth to Bessemer, and then when he gets back from Hawker School, we'll do a trip to Sylacauga, and then I can go back and forth to Sylacauga and Bessemer. So that'll be great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. But at the same time, I'm finding that I enjoy having somebody else in the airplane just to talk to be a little bit of a distraction. It helps out a lot, because when he got out a little while ago, I'm making my way down the taxiway, and to try and keep from letting the nerves get to me, I'm sitting there trying to sing and hum and make some noise on the intercom, just so I can keep myself entertained and not allow myself to get too nervous for my second supervised solo. And so I almost want the distraction of somebody else here, something to talk to, something to listen to, something. And I don't have the big fancy Zulus or Bose headset where I can plug in a Bluetooth, that kind of thing, and I probably don't need that sort of distraction. But luckily I have enough ADD that I can sit here and replay some of the tunes in my head and keep myself entertained, and it won't take long to get to Bessemer, do a couple touch and goes, and then come back. It won't take long at all. But anyway, here, I'll show you the cockpit again. For everybody that has not been in a 172, I'm going to go over some of the gauges real quick, just so you have an idea of what a new pilot has to do. A VFR pilot is supposed to use visual references for his speed, his heading, his attitude, and those sort of things. So we're supposed to do this. We're supposed to look at all these pretty pieces of Lexan and glass in the airplane as visual references to the way the airplane is reacting. And IFR, instrument rating, is you flying off just these gauges right through here. But as new pilots, and especially fairly, I don't know really what's the word, but as pilots that are somewhat OCD about having things set up right and in a proper order, I spend more time looking at these gauges here than I do out of the aircraft and actually looking around and seeing the things that I need to see and trying to use visual cues. I'm trying to teach myself to do a little more of that instead of paying so much attention to my gauges here. But if we go real quickly from left to right, we of course have fuel gauges, one for each tank. We have our oil temperature and oil pressure. We have our amp meter. This is a tach meter. This actually keeps track of the time that the engine is at certain RPMs. This is our turn coordinator. So when you see the ball here, we actually, this ball will move back and forth depending on how the airplane is shimming. If it's turning left and right, then the ball will move back and forth, and then you have your little wings that'll dip a little bit. And you're supposed to step on the ball. If the ball goes this way, you step on the right rudder to keep the tail behind you and stay in good coordinated flight. If we go back up, you'll see this little bitty gauge over here is the suction meter for our vacuum, and I think the vacuum pump is probably on its way out in this airplane, because we have to really increase our RPMs to get this vacuum to go up even a little bit. We have a timer that doesn't seem to work just right. We have our airspeed indicator, and you can see all the different little arcs. They all mean different things for this particular aircraft. We go one over. Of course, this is our plate so that we never forget who we are when we're talking on the radio. It's always right there. This is our attitude indicator. So the attitude indicator lets us know the attitude of the wings, the orientation of the wings, so that we know if we're in a turn, a bank, that sort of thing. The different lines denote different degrees of bank, so that you know if you're in a left bank at 30 degrees, then this little arrow will be lined up over there. And of course, if the airplane is nosing over or pitching up, then you have a little white reference line for the horizon, so you'll see the little airplane symbol go up or down with that. Below is our heading indicator. This is a compass that is governed, it's powered by the vacuum over here, so as your vacuum pressure changes, then this can change, and you have to keep rechecking it per the actual compass on the dash. We go one more over and we'll try and get on through these real quick. This is our altitude indicator, and you can see the little bitty numbers right here. This is what we're listening for our density altitude. They'll give us that when we call ASOS, so we can set this properly for the airport we're at. Another way to find that number out is to set the altimeter when the airplane is sitting on the ground to the field elevation, which is 586 here at Key. So I can set this to 586 and it'll give me my altimeter reading, so then I can set for the proper elevation. We have our VSI, our vertical speed indicator, right here. So this lets us know if we're climbing or losing altitude. And then this is a VOR track. I know my wife has heard a lot about me learning about VOR stuff, and this is a way that we can use to navigate. We go across, we have our radios and GPS. This one's got a Garmin GNC 300 radios and our transponder. And we have throttles and those sorts of things down here. Flap gauge and hobs, and of course our yoke. But that wraps us up. Fuel Man's here to put more gas in the plane. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. Well, welcome once again to my private pilot video blog. It's Kevin with AGL, but today we're out at Keat, Shelby County Airport, with the L700 right here. I just went up for my my last supervised solo, very little supervision this time, so I can now go out and check out the airplane on my own and go do pattern work here around the airport all by myself, which is great. To finally get that achievement under my belt and to say that I've officially soloed. Your first solo is awesome, but to complete my third one, since they make you do 3 now and actually be kicked loose, it's a very liberating thing. But the biggest thing I have a challenge with is it being so much quieter in the airplane without someone there to talk to. But I'm actually going to go right back up tomorrow morning with Alan, my instructor, again, and we're going to do a short hop to Bessemer and then come back. And he said he's basically going to sit there and just shoot the shit with me, just to make sure I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and then I can actually find my way to Bessemer and back. That'll be one of my first navigation challenges. We've actually been to Bessemer, so it's not that hard to find. It's a very, very short hop, and he's going to sign off on that in my book. So at that point, not only can I rent the airplane and go in the pattern here at Keat, but I can also fly back and forth to Bessemer. So that'll be neat. It'll be a fun way to burn an hour and $200 in the airplane. But short and sweet. This is Kevin. Thanks for checking out my video blog. Bye.